A very good morning to all. First, thank you for each and every one of you for being here today. As you all know, we are all gathered here for the alumni talk by Priyadharshini ma'am from Synergy Marine Group, Chennai. Welcome, ma'am. Welcome to SOMS again. I would like to welcome our respected HOD sir, Radha Ramanan sir, to inaugurate the event.
I'm not sure whether I am in the meeting now. It seems like it is stuck for me.
Yes, you are. You're very clear.
Sir,
okay, fine.
Yes, yeah.
So I am very happy to be here seeing the activity of students after almost half a year. I am happy that the students are there now in the thick of the action after probably half a year, as I mentioned. So this is after 5 months, I am seeing their faces here again in the system. Probably the way the pandemic has changed is we have to redefine what is BC and AD now as before Corona and after Corona. This could have an impact on the way the education system is going to evolve in the future, and we have to adapt ourselves to these changing environment and how this could be affecting our day-to-day life, our educational system, the way we work, the way we interact, so on and so forth. Okay. So I'm happy that here the student activity, when I say a student activity, I see still Priyadharshini as our old student, and I welcome her here to have interaction with our students so that she can share her experience during these years. In fact, even before joining the MBA program, she was working in the civil engineering. Now probably she is continuing in that direction in the shipping firm that she is currently employed with. Thank you, Priyadharshini, for offering your services to interact with the students.
Thank you, sir.
Then just to give a brief introduction about what this project management is about, I would like to tell that project can be considered as a set of coordinated tasks, and these coordinated tasks will be leading to a common objective. So we have a common objective. There are multiple tasks that are to be done, and there has to be tasks that has to be done in a coordinated fashion so that it will have to be completed in time. So there are we see that there is a constraint with respect to the time, there is a constraint with respect to the tasks, there is constraint with respect to the schedule. As a faculty who was handling about the statistics during the last semester, I would see this as a probability of completion. If there is going to be no probability of completion in these tasks, then there is no management at all. If everything is going to be certain, everything is there is no requirement of any planning at all. So these whatever the management courses that we study, since the first year course students are also here, I am talking in even more generic term about why this management. So there is always an element of uncertainty in the way that we look at things, and that uncertainty is what that has made us to go for this online class as well. This project management talks from this perspective of uncertainties. We plan to minimize these uncertainties. We talk about the time management, we talk about the risk management, we talk about the file management. So these comes from basically from work breakdown structures, which is the basic of the project management. A project management begins from the work breakdown structures. We call it as WBS. So that this WBS will be giving you periodically define the deliverables that are to be done over a period of time. So when we define a task, when we define the time, when we define the deliverables, we are planning for what is the probability of completion of these and try to deliver it on time, so that overall objective of the cost minimization or the cost escalation is sought to be minimized. With that objective is what the project management is being taught. Probably you would have also done during your UG time the critical path method, the PERT technique, the program evaluation and review techniques, which talks about the element of probability in the completion of these tasks. So with this objective of the minimizing the different probabilities of the elements of uncertainties that exist in the completion of a project, the project management is being discussed. So I would wish the best to this program, which we have started after quite a long time. It is good that the students have started to move, they're taking their initiation. With that, I would like to conclude my say the appreciation and the introduction about these about this webinar that is being organized. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Next, I would like to welcome Priyadharshini ma'am to share her insights and experience on project management.
Hi, thank you. Thank you firstly for inviting me here, and I'm very glad to see the students are also so interested to participate in such an initiation and initiative. And even I'm so happy to see the number of students attending over here. So quickly getting into the presentation. So this is going to be an introduction to project management. I'm going to talk about few of the common project issues which even I have faced, or like it's commonly faced in this industry.
Priya, excuse me. Excuse me for a minute. I see that there are also some faculty members here. We have Dr. Suresh Babu here. We have Dr. Srijit. I'm not sure who else have joined. I'm just able to note these two faculty members. I saw Shrikant, Dr. Shrikant also here. Yeah, we have here Rijas. Rijas, who was the one who handled project management during the previous semester.
Okay. So,
so I'm thankful for these faculty members also who have joined here. Good morning, sirs, for all of you.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Like I am so happy. Actually, I'm presenting this in front of people who had taught me. Radharamnan sir has taught as more on operations management. Though project management was handled by Arun sir, but still work breakdown structure or any other tools, basic tools was also being discussed very broadly during our lectures. So I'm happy to present in front of him, and so please correct me if I go wrong anywhere.
You are sharing your experience. There is nothing that is wrong or something like that.
So since it's going to be an introduction, I'm going to brush up on the concepts of project management and what is the process involved in project management quickly, and also like an overall life cycle before entering into the project issues. What is a project? What's so special about it? This goes by the definition, temporary endeavor to create unique product, service, or result. What is this temporary denotes here? Is it only time in a project, or is there anything added to it? Actually, this temporary denotes a definite start and a definite end. So that denotes a temporary over here. And we create this project to create product, service, or research. So in our company, we do create software products, or even we provide services like our group owns services like hotels, restaurants also under big picture, and or a research. In a business process, if you want to change some processes to give a better optimization, so that is also termed as project. So project is not just an activity. These days, even The school-going students say that they are doing a project, but it is not so. Project is a complex activity. So what happens when a project is repeating? So it belongs to operational activity. So there can be two houses which can be completely identical, with the same material, with the same design and everything. Will you call it as like unique? Because they belong to a different locations. So in a project, if you see, it is not identical at all. So when identical tasks goes, then it doesn't belong. You cannot term it as a project. So why are this project initiated? It goes by a customer request, which is the normal scenario. They come up to, for example, for a software creation, they come to us with a request, or we understand what are their requirements and we create a software. So that belongs to customer request. Business opportunity. In this COVID situation, if you see, there are even self-storage. This Swiggy, those people have, the opportunities have reduced for them. They have created a self-storage space now, where people who cannot come here, they make a warehouse and they store all these your households in one place. So this kind of business opportunities are there available in the market. And this is also a project, a change in technology. Now, if you see, since the people interaction is very less, so now even we are doing bots, chat bots within our company, or in hand with AI implementation. It helps you for even the basic search, which you ask a person about a data, which is not possible immediately because you don't interact. That situation is not there. So we are relying on creating a chat bot where you can identify, like, I mean, for an easy search. And market demand. So when are these project ends? When does a project end? So once when the objectives are ended, but not all the time the projects are ended by achieving the objective. Sometimes even we face, like, because of the financial crisis, we have to end a project even before it is even before its objective is achieved. For example, BHP last year they announced that they will go 10% of their iron ore will be carried only by LNG to reduce their carbon emissions. But even it was positive till the December. But what happened in July? Because of the COVID situation, they couldn't proceed with their goal. So they backed off completely from doing that. So this is one of the example where a crisis can also interrupt, and it won't allow you to achieve your objective. And when there is no need for this project at all, when we were about to get a new space, now the new space requirement itself is not there. So that is an example for this. And when customer themselves want to terminate the projects are ended in these conditions. So as sir has already been discussing on work breakdown structure, so which will be discussed over here on the elaborate topic on project management. It's application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques. So this knowledge, where we occur, how to plan, how to budget. So these kind of knowledges we acquire overall. And the skills like negotiation skills, or even leadership skills. And tools examples would be work breakdown structure. Generally, what we use for this work breakdown structure, we develop into a Gantt chart when we get this work breakdown structure. It's nothing but the Gantt chart which relates the time and your task as well in the tool. This this Gantt chart we use with even with the basic Excel. In case if you want to explore more on this developing a Gantt chart, you can visit this site called Vertex 42, where you get these templates on Gantt charts. It will be easy as a beginner to start with this Excel Gantt charts to understand like how the tool is being utilized. And there are other softwares like MS Projects or Primavera. There are a lot of tools which is being used for this project management. And we also use Smartsheet in our company. That is also an excellent tool, like which is more user friendly. I feel even better than MS Project. You can have a look at Smartsheet also. So these are the tools which I have come across, and techniques would be like PERT or CPM, which when you're using a particular MSP a tool or something, so it comes along with it. So, but we need to learn, we will be learning, or you will be learning about these basic techniques which is involved in the project management. So this application of knowledge, skills, tools and techniques to project activities to meet the project requirements. And what is the need to learn this project management? So I was mentioning about minimizing the constraints, minimizing the effect of these constraints, like time and money he was mentioning. Yes. So we need to produce very least amount of waste by having a project management. So you will make sure everything goes well with the least amount of waste in your resources. So that is where this project management comes in. And the basic project process groups, which is defined as per PMBOK. I know the PMBOK entire thing might not be clear to you, but you can also browse later also, like what are the processes which involved. There are actually 49 processes. It's not like under these project process groups, there are 49 processes, starting from developing a project charter till the closure of the project. So not necessarily all projects has to go through this 49 process groups. So you, depending upon your project, you can select what all processes which is required for your project. But understanding these 49 project process groups is must when you go through, when you want to study project management. So a small note on project life cycle. So here, initiating, planning, executing, monitor and control, and closing. These are the major phases in the project life cycle. If you see in initiating, it will be a broader picture. Not necessarily you need to go through your WBS in the initiating phase. The WBS falls in your planning stage. So in initiating, we have a very broader picture where you go to your management and get for an approval before even developing into a bigger timeline. So it vaguely covers, or it will be a tentative plan, I would say. And planning stage. If you see the planning stage, it is extending even to the executing and monitor and control. Planning is not something which you finish it and then the execution starts. It's not like that. Why this planning is extending towards the executing is where we face risks during the execution of the project. What we do is we change, we do some modifications on the planning as well. For example, when I was doing a project with my last company, it was with Western India Shipyard. It was to upgrade a oil rig. So we had an initial plan, but what happened was like we had unforeseen rains. So we need to get back to a risk mitigation plan. And how, because we have a deadline to complete. Not only that, otherwise we will have a penalty if we don't complete on time. So whenever we make any changes in the plan, we need to update in our whenever these kind of risks affects your timeline, we need to update in our plan, and that has to be informed to all the stakeholders in the project. And monitoring and control. It's where the quality is the integral part of a project. So this monitoring and control will follow for the entire phase of the project life cycle. And executing starts once the after the initiating level. Even with the basic plan itself, the executing can start. And coming to the closing part, every project, even if it, after achieving its objective, we need to close it properly with a closure document. So all those process will be discussed later on also, this is the broader project life cycle. And coming to the project management triangle, once the scope is confirmed, the cost and time, all these are confirmed. There is something which comes as an integral part. The quality. The quality is involved in all the three constraints. I would say it could be the fourth constraint if you want to look at it separately. But quality should be there in every process you do or every constraint you see. So these are the three major constraints of the project management. When your scope is exceeding, it will definitely affect the other two, and vice versa for the other. So when there is more, when your time is reduced, your cost is going to increase. So increasing or reduce any one of these constraints will have the impact on the other two, and even on the quality. So these are the basic, I brushed upon the basic concepts on project management. Coming to the common project issues. I'm going to discuss about 5 common project issues. Floating project start date. Like when a project is being approved, but it's not getting started. Poor communication. So the communication within the project team or even with the external stakeholders. Continuous changes in scope, scope creep, and ignoring lessons learned. So we will discuss about this. Floating project start date. When your project has been approved, so as a project, as a PMO in our company, there will be n number of projects. Like say we have 10 projects which has been listed out and which has been even approved, but nothing starts. Or like say out of that 2 projects have been initiated and 8 is not starting at all. So there is too much of delay on one project. So what is the issue behind it? How can we solve this kind of a situation? See, once a project is approved, we provide a particular team for that particular project. So we are holding to the resource as well, but your project is not getting initiated. So what you have to do, this is a common situation which you come across in any company. Everybody will say, yes, we have to start this, but once when you reach there, you won't get that go. So what you should do? So when you are handling like 4 or 5 projects, so reanalyze the priority for the project. So in case if you're holding on to a project as the number 1 and it is not getting initiated, you go back and see what are the other projects you have and prioritize for the rest of the projects. And if in case your project is going to start late, you need to communicate the information with all the entire project team. So this will keep the motivation and the morale of the team also to be high. One thing, because when a project is not starting, even I have come across that situation where I have waited even a year to start a particular project. So, but still, you need to pass on that information, maybe by once in 2 weeks or something. You need to communicate this information to your team. And analyze your daily activities to determine whether you are wasting time on a low priority project. Yes, So look at the outcome of this project. You need to understand whether you need to rate the project based on the outcome of it. Maybe on the financial aspect, or maybe how it is going to help your company. So you can pick up a few agendas and you have to rate them. So these are the methods. And the last one is, so when your project is not getting started, so you have to change your project plan accordingly in case if there is a time delay because of the late start. So the entire project will also get affected. So that also be taken care on this floating project start date. So here, next comes the communication. So this guy asks, you didn't, not only you did paint my walls blue, my ceiling also. The other person says, you should be happy that I didn't paint your floor also blue. So communication matters a lot in the project. The first basic thing of a project communication, or during initiating a project, is your project charter. This is the Bible which you carry. So whenever you start a project, start with the project charter. You need to give not only the overview, the entire project details, scope, and who all are team, and your resource planning, your communication plan. Everything comes in this project charter. This project, this charter will communicate all the W's and H, which is being listed over here. Who will be the right person in case if there is a change in the project? Who should I go? And who all are the stakeholders? Should I include all the stakeholders for every communication? Not necessarily. So you can group which team I have to communicate for this particular communication. For example, in one of the project I handled, so I don't have to send the daily reports to the entire stakeholders. So daily reports will be subjected to a particular team only. And your monthly reports, yes, you need to involve a broader stakeholders, or even the high level stakeholders. These kind of details you need to give in the project charter itself, because you will be there for the project. In case if you have to leave this project, or there is a circumstance you need to quit, so the other person who is coming to take over this project charter will be the Bible. So he can refer for all the things over here, like from the baseline schedule. The baseline is nothing but like your milestones will be reflected in your baseline schedule, like at particular time, at particular amount of money spent, where I should stand. So all this information has to be there in your project charter. So there should not be too many reports also, because you should not be wasting more times in reporting than on an execution. For example, I would have spent, like as a project engineer, in a day I would have spent like around 30 to 45 minutes to do a project report. So I should not be spending like hours and hours in a day concentrating on this project report, which is like daily or a weekly reports, whatever. So you have to make sure there are not too many reports, and too many reports circulating to too many people as well. So make a list of this report which has to be produced for the project. And contents. Project not only has the timeline, but also like maybe a vendor management will be there, and also vendor management, or what else? Any other contents? So you need to make people to be responsible for that particular content. Even you can divide that project based on this contracting, or even legal will be part of your project. So all those contents should go to the responsible person. And your critical team members. There would be some experienced team members who would be part of your project, or they may not be a part of the project as well. But within the project team, you need to identify the critical as a manager. Okay, this is my team, but you have to identify this. This is not like favoritism on someone. It should not reflect in such a way. But there will be one critical team member who will be able to help you with on the project updates on a regular basis. So you have to have, for every team, you need to identify that critical team member as well. And not all communications are always formal. So even we have to meet them informally also, to understand, in case if there are some issues, there might be some conflict issues within the team. So these all has to be identified, can be identified in an informal session only. So that also has to be a part of this project communication. So let's do some activity. You cross your arms and then you try to put it the other way around. So how do you feel? Is it comfortable? You try an activity. Just cross your arms. Try to put it if you're putting your left hand in, or try to do it the other way around. How do you feel? Are you comfortable? So it's a small change, right? It's not a big change. Just right, and you're putting your left hand the other way around. So it's a small change. Are you feeling comfortable? We can't even sit like this for a minute, right? Like, because we are used to something for a long time, we can't even change. So a change is something, whenever we come across a change, we always try to restrict it, or we look at it as a inhibitor. But in projects, is it the same? Or how do we handle these how do we handle the changes? When there is a continuous changes in scope, which is not actually appreciated, when there is a continuous changes in scopes, that actually reflects that there is a lack of consensus before starting the project itself. That means all the stakeholders have not given you the consensus, and you have initiated this project. So what should you do when you find not to face such a situation like continuous changes in scopes? So whenever you finish your project plan, you need to get a formal approval from all the project stakeholders, be it written or email, anything, whatever your organization says. Make sure that you are getting that confirmation from all the appropriate stakeholders. And in case when a change is being made by one of the key stakeholder, make sure that you are communicating to the entire team. One change may not be welcomed by the other. So that kind of communication should be there. There should not be any loop which is open for an issue later. And for all these changes, you should identify who can make change. So this authority should be clearly documented in your change management, change control plan. So this guy jumped out of the plane thinking that it's red bag with a red bag, but actually the green bag is a parachute. They changed it. So we should not face such a situation. Scope creep. Scope creep is a very, very interesting topic. In PMP, we call it as gold plating as well, which is like partly you can say, which allows for this scope creep. When you're doing a project for someone or your company as well, they say maybe it will be a very minor change. It need not be, you feel like it need not be entered into the change control plan or change request form. So you don't have to do it and you accept it. Slowly, when you start doing that, it slowly it affects your entire project plan. So these adding additional features or functions of a new product requirements or work that is not authorized. It's not coming under authorized channel, which is beyond agreed scope. So this is called as scope creep. So we cannot change, we cannot stop changes in a project. Actually, if you stop changing, if you stop getting the changes or change requests from the customer, your project is not going to be viable. It is not possible because there will be enough number of chances where the stakeholders will come and say like, this is after even starting, oh no, this is not what I wanted. For example, I was designing an office. Then they said like, oh, I forgot to add a particular team. There is no space for them. So can you dismantle this area and make it a more seating arrangements? So these kind of changes will come, but it might be a minor thing, or it's not more of cost wise. It is not going to affect you, but it is going to affect your timeline. So it has to be, even if it is not affecting your cost, if it is not going to even affect your time as well, but it has to be documented properly. So we have to accept the change, but we need to have a stronger control system to how we are going to accept these changes. So working on unauthorized changes causes time and cost overruns in a project. Implementing change management plan in the project helps in dealing with the scope creep. So ignoring lessons learned, which is the very, very important point of a project. This ignoring lessons learned gives a basic, gives you an enormous amount of history of your projects. In case if you're going to handle a similar projects, you can go back to this and refer what are the issues that has been faced. Even for your risk register, you will have a risk register where you have to find a mitigation plan even during your planning phase itself. So where do you refer all of those information? You have either you go to an expert, or this is one of the best way to even in any organization, even if it is not there, whatever company you join, even if it is not there, please make sure that lessons learned part is implemented in all of your projects. It's a source of future knowledge to improve our process, training programs, checklists, and templates. An example would be what I have come across is our vendor management system. So only after you make more projects, that established contact of vendors will be there, or we might have got into a wrong vendor and we would have lost time on that for his shipping or delivery for that particular equipment. So this is going to be a future knowledge for me, or even if I'm not there, it is going to be for somebody else. But this knowledge has to be gathered and kept in a place. So that is what is more important about this lessons learned. Are these lessons learned has to be gathered only at the end phase of the project? Not necessarily, actually. You can collect it whenever you face a risk, or whatever time you face a risk, you can collect it, and or during your major milestone of your projects. So you collect all those things, but you consolidate during your project end phase. So what all you have to do in the process of lessons learned. So you have to make sure that you are explaining the issue and how you address the issue and how the solution has improved the solution, improved the situation. Generally, lessons learned, nobody will be open enough to accept, yes, I have went wrong and I have done this. Nobody is open enough, or like it hurts their ego actually. But you, as a team, we need to appreciate them when they are coming across with what was the issue or something went wrong. Even they themselves have done something wrong, but you have to handle it in a better way, not making them feel bad for bringing this to you. So this is the one of the reason why these lessons learned are completely ignored actually. So such you don't allow, when you become a manager, you don't allow such things happen in your team. So when someone is going wrong, it's not like pointing fingers at them, but as a team, how you can work along. So that is what is more important, and you provide this as a very good organizational asset, which is a document. So I'm just showing you a small template of lessons learned. This you can even implement in your projects as well. If you are having more projects, whatever recurring projects, in case if you have, you can implement the same. It need not be like too elaborate, but it has to be very simple, kept simple, so that you can extract the information. So what happens when you finish your project, everything on time, and you come to your boss, and they always come back and say, next project you will have less time and less money. This is what happens. Yeah. Thank you. Any questions? Please go ahead.
Ma'am, I think we have a question in the chat box.
Okay.
Finish the one.
Yeah. Any project is how to complete on time, because as we all know, a lot of challenges there during the project, especially the project which is directly related to executing energy. Yeah, where nature is also there. Heavy rain. Okay. Now the training will, how the training will provide the project manager. Yeah. See, a project like NHAI, where environment is also involved in it. So we need to have a proper risk register. When you are starting the project itself, we have to identify, because you have to look at, you have mentioned about nature, rain problem. So we have database for all of these things, or rain forecast. So you can have a look at 5 years or 10 years data, and you have to identify this risk register, and you have to identify these risks and enter into a risk register, and also a mitigation plan for it. So in case of this situation arises, what is my mitigation plan? So this you have to create it even before during the planning stage of the project itself. So that is how we can training will provide. So these kind of risk assessment or risk management training will help the project manager. And whatever I say, document everything. You need to keep it in writing and document it in your project throughout. So even if something goes wrong, your documents will speak for you, or you can always refer your documents. And documents, I mean like organizational assets, which are like your mitigation plans, or your other what else? Your lessons learned. Everything is going to help you during the project. And tools, you can also have a look at this Gantt chart, which is very good. Even if you are not interested in project management also, it's a very good tool. In any, even if it can be used in operational activity also. So the charts are really nice. So when you have time, have a look at it. You can visit. There are enough number of YouTube videos on creating Gantt chart, which will help you actually when you progress. So please have a look at Gantt chart.
Hi, ma'am. My question is, is it necessary that you need a operations background for being a project manager or applying for such a position when you join as a fresher?
In many places, actually, this operations and project management go hand in hand. For example, during a project phase, a person will be multifunctional, like a person from an operational team will be picked out and he will be playing a part in the project management. So how do I explain? Okay, in case if you're developing a software tool, let me discuss about my company as well. So only a person who knows all the operational activity can give you a right feedback, like what kind of software he wants for that particular ship management. So if you don't have that operational knowledge, you need to have an expert who has the operational knowledge. In case you are a core project management person, you know only you know only the processes of a project management. You don't know what is happening, because you might be placed from IT company, you can go to any other manufacturing company also as a project manager, but the core concepts remain the same. Knowledge as well when you need to know about the operational activities that you can gain even by experience and also having an expert with you. Hope that answers.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Ma'am, hello, ma'am. I happen to see that PMP tag that is with your name. Like, how do you get that? Like, what exactly is a PMP?
Yeah, if you have 4 years of experience, or 4.5 will be ideal actually. The qualification is to apply for this is 4 years of experience in project management. So after that, you can apply for this PMP certification. It has got a good market value. So I mean, for your career, in case if you are looking out as a project management, definitely you should look at it. You can visit pmi.org, where you will find all the details on different project management, portfolio management, program management. So based on your sector, you can choose the certification, and it definitely needs at least some 3 months or 3 to 4 months of studying, and they give 1 year time period. Once you apply, you can give the exams within a year. So as you are, when you are a fresher itself, like when you are pass out, that time itself you can apply, so that you will be strong with your core knowledge of project management, in case if you're taking it as an elective. For me, this thing started when I took an elective in project management. From that time onwards, I was looking at it. So once when I got the experience, I applied it and I cleared this PMP. And you have to maintain credits as well. So every 3-year cycle, you need to update that you are gaining credits, like you are using the same field. You are in the same field, and then you have to again apply for it for a good. You don't have to give the exam, but you need to extend your certifications. Like every 3-year cycle, it is.
Okay.
Okay. Work breakdown structure is okay. You're building a house, so or any other software. It can be applied in all the projects. So you break down into the least possible task. That is the work breakdown structure. Because I am from civil engineering, I always related to housing projects. So If you consider a house, you divide it into footing, you divide into first floor, second floor, and then what are the process involved. So excavating in the, which is the least possible task in excavation, or least possible task in doing a footing. So that kind of the last break you can give for that particular task. So you have to divide it like that for your entire project. So that is the work breakdown structure. Please do refer this Vertex 42 site, where you will get an idea of both work breakdown structure as well as your Gantt chart, which is an interesting tool actually, or a basic tool to start with if you don't have much idea about this. No, CPM and PERT are techniques. WBS is a tool. So you can manage a project under any of these techniques. Even there is a buffer based system also, which you can apply for the techniques, like how your time is being captured. So that is there. That will be done with your CPM or PERT. Those are techniques. Tools will be WBS or Gantt chart. Those are your tools, or even any software will be your tools. I don't have much idea about Scrum Master because my background is not from IT. So Scrum Master is different, as that involves, I think it involves agile techniques. I'm not sure about Scrum Master. As a project management manager, what is the major problem you have faced in your job, if any, and how you solve the same? Major problem is when, see, there is a survey which PMI shares that only 45% of the, according to their survey, 45% of the projects are completed in time. So completing a project within the time is a major issue. So that is what I have faced in my job, and completing the project within time is that itself is a big book to write actually. The solving is, how did I solve is like I would have, for example, for this rig which I entered. So I even played like, I took one of the tasks. Even I was a overall project coordinator, but I have to finish everything on time. So one of the entire task, like I took it and under me and I finished it to save time. So you have to play multiple roles sometimes to finish your projects on time. What's your most challenging project till now? Most challenging, whenever there is high cost involved, that will bring in more challenges. So the one of the rig upgradation project was my challenging project because it involved a lot of penalty. Like if the vessel is not in the position on time, so it involves a lot of penalty and the company makes a lot of loss. So there was huge pressure on the entire team as well. So that was one of the most challenging project I've done. Okay. Rija sir. How to reduce these common project issues, okay, for a startup company, especially in service sector. To reduce the common project issues. So all of the issues, even I have listed down like how to reduce them. So we can follow those principles, and I would say the best thing we can do is maybe getting a certification on this, like PMP will really help in knowing all the processes. Understanding 49 process is not a simple thing. So when you are more aware of all the 49 processes, so you will be very sure like where things are going wrong. You will be able to identify, even for a startup or even for any other bigger projects, you know what process I need to apply over here, or have I missed this, because it gives checklist of items which you should not miss in a as a PMP certified project manager. You should not miss. So that will really help. And as a student also, I think there are some reductions in the price. So you can check, and you can read about all the 49 process. It will give a very good understanding for you to know about more about this project management. How does operations play a role in project management, or does it even? Yes, of course. Operations. See, these projects are time bounded and are temporary. It is not a continuous process. If a project is not ending at all, then it becomes an operational activity. If your project is not having a clear end or clear closure, or continuing, so it becomes a operational activity. So we should not confuse operations and project management, but there is a connection in the process wise. So it will help if you take both operations and project. It will definitely help you on the longer run. And during the planning phase of a project, what we are not delivering is that important as we are to deliver. What we are not delivering, you mean to say that we should mention this is not part of our scope? Yes, it is important actually. If you meant that way, your scope has to be defined very, very clearly. And because when you're mentioning which is not part of your scope, yes, that will help you to have a proper change control plan or change management plan. So whatever you are not delivering, you might take it as a change request. So yes, for these points can be taken under change request. So that can be what are you not delivering with the package, but it can be added later on. So that also you have to have it during the planning phase itself. Yes. That Ulas Prabhakaran has asked, like, if there is a delay from weather condition, it depends upon the legal terminologies only, which any of the client won't accept. So we need to plan it ahead or have a buffer system. What we generally do is, like, in case if we can finish the project in 4 months, we will say we will finish it in 6 months, like having a buffer. Because of knowing the history. Can someone change his sector, like marine to construction or aviation? Yes, I have done. I am from civil engineering, and I have done and worked. Now I'm currently working with maritime as well. Mine is not like core maritime, I would say. Projects which is involved like changes in the vessels. So those kind of projects also I have handled. All you need to have is passion for your project management. If you really like, please go ahead, and industry doesn't matter. You can learn. You can learn different from different industries as well. So it should not be a barrier for that. How you come across a situation where the customer cancels a change request placed earlier? So cancels a change request. So any change request, as I said, like might be involved with time and money as well. So depending upon that, if it is only time limit, if it is going to affect only your time, then you inform all the stakeholders this has happened. But communication is very important. If it is going to be a major change that has been cancelled, yes, you have to communicate. How did you proceed further? Yeah, you have to update either your plan, or you have to put it under another change request. I mean, change request, for that again another change request. So you need to document it. So anything else? I think we have exceeded the time. That is okay.
Does anyone have further questions? I hope no further questions. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity. It was a great pleasure to meet all the students over here. I never even thought about like this, something like this would happen when I was studying in SOMS. I was very happy and see lot of bright faces. Definitely have the passion and chase your dreams. Definitely you all will succeed, and you all will keep up the name of SOMS as well. So
Thank
proud
you,
of
ma'am.
you. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. That was indeed very informative. Thank you, ma'am, for freeing your time from this strict schedule and for sharing the knowledge and insights with us. Thank you, ma'am, for including the small comics to make us understand the situation better. Thank you, ma'am. I would also take this opportunity to thank all the faculty members for joining and helping us to arranging everything necessary for conducting this event. Thank you all students for joining the session. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.